Jake's eyes flicked to me, gripping his glass tight, a spark of hunger buried in his stare. Luke leaned in, his slow, knowing smile cutting through the haze. The air between us thickened, heavy with something unspoken, a choice hanging in the space, and I was ready to make it. If you're with me, hit like, subscribe. It takes a second, makes a difference, and keeps you in the loop. Let's dive in. I won't lie. I'd been starving for it. Too many nights alone in my Seattle apartment, too many mornings untouched. My husband was gone for months and I thought I could handle it. I was wrong. A woman has needs, and mine were burning, twisting inside me, growing sharper every day. I woke restless, skin alive, thighs tingling, aching before my eyes even opened. I needed more than my own hands. I needed to be wanted, craved. And lately, I knew exactly who I wanted. Jake, older, strong. My neighbor for years, quiet, controlled, the kind of man who takes what he wants but holds back. Luke, restless, cocky, eager, staying at Jake's place, his eyes lingering like he's waiting for permission or daring me to give it. I didn't want subtle. I wanted hands on me, mouths on me, bodies pinning me down until I couldn't think. I sipped my drink, condensation slick between my fingers. Jake was focused, Luke restless, and me, I was done pretending, done waiting. I'm not one for games. Some women flirt, drop hints, wait to be chased. Not me. I see what I want, I go for it. So when Jake wiped sweat from his brow, muscles flexing under his shirt in the Seattle sun, I didn't just look, I gave him something to see. I stepped onto his porch dress, swaying just enough to tease my curves, the heat kissing my skin, making it glow. Jake glanced up as I approached, running a hand through his hair, caught off guard. Working hard, I mused, stopping close enough for him to feel me. He nodded, wiping his hands on a rag, keeping busy to avoid me. I tilted my head, drawing his eyes, slow, deliberate, letting him feel the weight. You're good at keeping things in shape. Those hands work steady. Jake cleared his throat, shifting, cautious. Yeah, someone's gotta. He kept his distance, but his eyes betrayed him, hungry, flickering. I stepped closer, fingers grazing his arm, barely touching, testing. They'd feel better on something softer than car parts. His breath hitched, fingers twitching like he wanted to grab me, pull me in. He swallowed, held back. Need something fixed, I nearly laughed. Fixed, I needed something broken, wide open. I let my fingers trail across his stomach, slow, deliberate, waiting for him to stop me. He didn't, but he didn't bite either. My patience has limits. As I turned away, I felt eyes on me, Luke watching, not hiding it. His gaze was raw, eager, ready to give me anything I asked. Unlike Jake, he didn't pretend. I stepped closer, close enough for him to catch my perfume, to want more. Doing good out here, I said, eyes dragging over him, slow, deliberate. Luke leaned against the truck, arms crossed, sweat gleaming on his collarbone. Nice view from here, too, he shot back, bold. I liked it. I gave him the same treatment I gave Jake, but this time I wasn't testing, I was rewarding. Pretty confident, aren't you? Luke grinned, tilting his head. Why wouldn't I be? I reached out, fingers brushing his forearm skin, warm pulse quick. I like confidence. Luke inhaled, sharp, subtle, but there. Good. I've got plenty. Jake was still working, pretending not to hear, but his shoulders tensed, his glance flickering for half a second. He was listening, and it made me bolder. I leaned in, breath grazing Luke's ear. How about a drink at my place? His smirk deepened, eyes sliding to my lips, then lower, locking back on mine. Thought you'd never ask. From the corner of my eye, Jake froze, body taut, jaw tight. Guess I'm not getting that drink, he muttered. I turned, smiling, letting the silence stretch, making him wonder. Didn't think you cared, I said, soft lips curving. But you're welcome to join. Jake didn't answer right away, fingers flexing hesitation in his eyes. I held his gaze a moment longer, then turned to Luke. If Jake wanted me, he'd have to act. I led Luke inside Jake, following silent tools down, no hesitation now. Luke grinned, knowing as we stepped into my apartment. He thought he had this figured out, thought he knew how the night would go. He wasn't wrong. The air was thick tension, crackling like static. I didn't rush. I wanted to feel it, let them feel it. Beer, whiskey? I asked, reaching for the cabinet. Luke leaned against the counter, smirk, lazy, confident. Whatever you're having. Jake shifted, arms crossed, still holding back, jaw tight. Same, he said low. I poured ice, clinking, breaking the silence. I handed them their drinks, fingers brushing Luke's, then Jake's, testing, feeling the anticipation coil tighter. Luke settled on the couch at ease like he belonged. Jake stood, fingers curled around his glass eyes locked on me. I sat between them, crossing my legs, letting my dress slide higher on my thighs. Nice place, I murmured, sipping slow. Luke chuckled. Didn't think you invited us for just a drink. I turned to him, eyes slow, deliberate. Think I invited you for nothing. His smirk deepened, fingers tapping the armrest, not the type to waste time. I leaned forward close enough to feel the heat between us. I'm not. Jake exhaled hard, shifting, fighting whatever restraint he thought he had. His breath had changed, fingers twitching like he wanted to reach for me. I turned to him, nails grazing my glass on my thigh. You're quiet. His throat worked, swallowing hard, just drinking. Luke scoffed. Yeah, what do you think? Jake hesitated, grip tightening, but didn't answer. So I decided for him. I took Luke's glass, set it beside mine, his eyes flashing darker, heavier. He didn't move, waiting, watching. I leaned in, breath warm on his lips, closing the distance, taking what I wanted. His mouth met mine, eager, deep hands on my waist, pulling me closer, body taut with pent-up energy. He'd been waiting as long as I had. From the corner of my eye, Jake watched, wanting, unmoving but not leaving. I wouldn't let him hold back anymore. I pulled him in, lips claiming his fingers, threading through his hair, guiding him deeper. He gripped my waist, responding like he'd been starving, held back too long. Behind me, Luke's breath grew uneven, restless, no longer just watching. I reached for him, fingers curling into his shirt, pulling him close until his heat pressed against me. Luke exhaled hard, hands on my hips, exploring, tracing the curve of my dress. I turned, smiling faintly. Don't just stand there. That was all he needed. He leaned in, lips grazing my neck, slow teasing hands sliding lower, bolder, making my breath catch. I had other plans. I threaded my fingers through his hair, guiding him lower, exactly where I wanted. Luke groaned against my skin, hands spreading across my thighs, settling between them. A soft gasp escaped me, heat flooding through body, humming with anticipation. Jake watched, restraint slipping, hands flexing at his sides. Jealous, I teased, tilting my head. His jaw tightened. You don't know. I purred, fingers trailing down his chest, feeling his heat. His hands twitched, patience fraying. I undid his belt, letting my touch linger, feeling his sharp exhale. Jake shuddered, hands gripping my hips, holding me steady. I leaned in, lips brushing his teasing, savoring every reaction, every heavy breath. Luke's hands tightened on my thighs, his rhythm growing surer, possessive. Caught between them, I was the center, finally getting what I'd craved. Jake groaned, low muscles tensing under my touch. I pulled back, meeting his eyes, lips curving, satisfied. Surrender, I whispered. He did, fingers tangling in my hair, breath ragged, restraint gone. Luke was done holding back, hands gripping tighter, movements sure, deliberate. It was intoxicating, overwhelming, and I still wanted more. I pulled away, lips swollen, breath, uneven heat searing every inch of me. "Lie back," I ordered, voice breathless but firm. Jake hesitated a second, then obeyed, chest heaving, hands twitching, waiting. I settled over him, pressing my body to his fingers, tracing his jaw, lips brushing his ear. "No more waiting," I whispered. His hands dug into my hips as I moved, setting the rhythm, taking exactly what I wanted from both. Luke's hands slid up my back, his heat pressing behind me, moving in sync. Jake groaned beneath me, gripping harder, restraint gone. The intensity built, electric, every movement tightening the connection. I wanted it all. I shifted, hands pressing into the couch, arching, guiding Luke forward while Jake held steady behind me. Luke's fingers threaded through my hair, pulling me closer, tasting me, savoring every gasp. Jake's hands spread across my hips, controlled, deliberate, deepening the bond. Every touch, every movement sent pleasure crashing through, building sharper, deeper, pulling us closer. The tension was unbearable, pushing us higher. Jake's hands gripped tighter, voice hoarse. "You feel incredible." Luke exhaled, trembling, lost in the moment. I didn't want it to end, wanted to stay in this raw, burning pleasure, but it couldn't last. The tension peaked, energy flooding, consuming every inch of me. My breath broke in trembling gasps, body shaking as I clung to them, sinking deeper into the overwhelming heat. The room filled with uneven breaths, lingering warmth of bodies intertwined, the quiet aftermath of something all-consuming. For a long moment, no one moved, the weight of it settling between us. I sank onto the couch, stretching lazily, satisfaction humming under my skin. Jake let out a low chuckle, running a hand through his damp hair. Luke exhaled, still catching his breath. "Holy hell," he muttered, shaking his head with a breathless laugh. I smiled, glancing between them, completely satisfied, completely claimed. They thought they'd controlled this, but it was always my game. The next morning, I woke different, not just satisfied, but alive. The ache that had twisted inside me for months, the unbearable hunger was gone. I'd fed it, and now I'd tasted it. I wouldn't let it go. I stretched, lingering warmth, a reminder of exactly what happened, how good it felt to take what I wanted. Jake stirred beside me, half asleep, arm heavy on my waist. Luke grinned from the edge of the bed, running a hand through his messy hair. "Morning," he whispered, eyes glinting. Feeling better, I purred, fingers trailing Jake's chest, lips curving. "For now." Luke laughed, breathless. Jake shifted, squeezing my hip like he knew what I was thinking. This wasn't a one-time thing. I wasn't done with them. Some desires should stay hidden, or should they risky, or the best decision ever. Drop your thoughts in the comments, I want to hear. Like, subscribe, hit the bell. Thanks for watching, see you next time.